like I said before, again they playing games, but I gotta, these modern phones got what do you ID. I don't know who this is, and I doubt if it's the wrong number because they hunt. It's like I said, like the other day they answered, and I answered. I knew it was it wasn't nobody I know. One because it say Deerfield Beach, Florida, or whatever, and I'm like, hello. You see, this was yeah, just a couple of minutes ago, 4:02. And so when I call back, now it goes straight to voicemail.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person.
And it's funny because what it was. I think what it is, they knew I was coming outside to make fun of them because of this video.
This is the car insurance.
A lot of people are making videos about this today, but
trick big companies don't want you to know about. Over 90% of what you pay for car insurance is
to the American people, trying to make it seem like the race is closer than it really is. Trump is absolutely trouncing her all across the board. JD,
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truth, if you don't mind.
Speak some truth. What truth is, they with that witchcraft shit. Speak some truth. You remember they used to say that years ago? I have to tell my truth. Remember the BLM years? You notice nobody says that. It never caught on, so nobody says it anymore. I gotta tell my truth. And then, like on CNN, them black anchors, the clowns. Yeah, you tell your truth. Everybody's like, there's no such thing as your truth. It's the truth, and that's it. There's no my truth or you tell your truth. It's like these. There's nobody. It never caught on. Everybody knew better. Like I said back then, it's like damn well your girl come home, y'all live together, your wife or whatever. It's 3 in the morning. Oh, well, let me tell you my truth. Or ladies, yeah, your husband come home. Let me tell you my truth. My truth is the equivalent of what had happened was. See, what had happened was. Let me tell you my truth. But anyway.
As my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
So at this point, Obama pulls up to a campaign stop to Kamala Harris's headquarters. I believe this is in Pennsylvania. And this is before he goes on to do a rally and a speech. So the Democrats have basically pulled out the big guns. They said, look, we not getting the traction that we think that we are.
The big guns. Obama ain't no big gun. He a big fool. Everybody think he the worst president. And the few people who might have thought he was a good president are waking up to realize the whole time they just was dreaming. And literally that's their phrase for the legal immigrants, dreamers. Both talking about black people who thought he was a good president. They're waking up from their dream, their nightmare.
These polls is lying to the American people, trying to make it seem like
that's what everybody been saying. I've been saying that the polls are tight. The polls are so close. The polls that Harris is ahead a little bit, or Trump is just ahead by the tiny bit. It's neck and neck. It's like bullshit. Who in the hell?
The race is closer than it really is. Trump is absolutely trouncing her all across the board. JD Vance just got done beating up on Tim Walz inside of a debate, and they're concerned that we don't have the same enthusiasm that Kamala Harris can generate versus what he experienced in '08 and in 2012. And so Obama feels the need.
He really think like I said, you only can do that once. It's over. Communist stuff only works once. Unless, you completely take over and just destroy the country. But if you try to take over and it doesn't work. It only works once. He tried it and it didn't work. Obama didn't work. Trump came in and opened everybody's eyes, and nobody's going back. Nobody wants to go back. It's over. So Obama, he wasting time. Like, bro, it's over. Nobody is like shit. They really believe Obama that they can come back and bring him, and it's like, no, everybody's waking up. Nobody's defending him anymore. They used to defend him. Oh, Obama. Now they know he didn't do anything. They thought that's the way, and then see what it was. The people that you was cited are the people who thought it was racism and somebody else's fault. Now that we didn't hit them, that it was their fault and they did it on purpose and lied to you and blamed other people, white folks and racism, and they want to keep you slaves. Now they know, so they're not going back. They thought they were doing good under Obama and and they thought it was racism, and they thought they was maybe just surviving, but now they know. Nobody's going back. There's no more excitement.
To come and speak directly to the brothers, to black men. He's never spoken to us before, never had any enthusiasm for us unless we were voting for him. Now they feel as though they can bamboozle us and hit us with the ooh-op shebang, the okie doke, a second time around with a second candidate, and we're supposed to be enthusiastic about.
Hi, excuse me, miss, hello. What if I told you I could get you some money right now?
Think about voting for Kamala Harris based off of identity politics instead of what's best for our. Never spoken to us before, never had any enthusiasm for us unless we were voting for him. Now they feel as though they can bamboozle us and hit us with the ooh-op shebang, the okie doke, a second time around with a second candidate, and we're supposed to be enthusiastic about voting for Kamala Harris based off of identity politics instead of what's best for our country, and instead of what's best for our family, instead of what's best for our people and our neighborhoods. And Democrats have been running this country as far as being in the White House the last 12 of the 16 years, including times that he was in there. His enduring message was to the alphabet community, but we gonna get through it. We gonna play this whole thing, and he knows the cameras is on, so this is not hidden. And he's speaking specifically to us black men. Let's see what the message is.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you,
And the same shit he's literally trying to, black men, we don't want to vote for her because she's a woman. No, everybody sees she's a fucking idiot. There's not even, she don't even have policies. She can't even think straight.
Then how come she ain't marry one of us? Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Obama is our new punching bag. They wanted to parade him around like he's the Messiah. Let's let him cook. We're going to get some more context before we stop this and react to it.
understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Because they had to work harder and do more and overcome.
Overcome what? Overcome what? Remember I kept saying he wanted to sound like the civil rights movement. Overcome what? The only thing we got to overcome is the Democrats.
And achieves the second highest office in the land.
Given to
And
us.
is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the
he's not.
things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities. From housing to making sure that our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents can afford medicine.
He don't even know what he talking about. Neighborhoods and communities and making sure. Yeah, that's it. Making sure mothers and yeah, that's the ticket.
Making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high.
I mean, they literally don't know anything about. So now you see, the whole time, 08, 09, 10, 11, and 12. Now you see all them I never listened to him, but the people who did, what was he saying? What was his speeches about? Now, he was just, hope, and we got hope, and this and that, and we gonna have hope.
And are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? But, Cousin Putin might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
He really think that he really spitting right now. He really think that this is 2008. He really think that this is his era. This is his generation where he can talk to us and we supposed to get inspired by your hope message when we can look at what happened over the last 3.5 years.
That's what I just said. He think this is that hope shit. Everybody hip to it now. None of us was, but Trump didn't hip us to it. It's too late. I told you can't pull that curtain back. Yeah, we paying attention to that man behind the curtain. That's the end of it. It's over. We paying attention.
And compare it to what happened in 2016 through 2020.
I need gas money, but I don't get paid till next week. What should I do?
Don't even stress about it. Just download the
20. And when I do a compare and contrast, I realize that the opportunities were greater and we had better times than what we've experienced over the last 3.5 years. Hey, family, black people, black men in particular. We gonna use the whole you don't want a woman to lead you trope to then justify you and use reverse psychology to get you to go out there and vote for a person that is completely incompetent. Completely incompetent. She admitted that she'd be no different than what Biden has implemented, and that she was in the room for overwhelming majority of the decisions, especially the important ones, that's happened over the last 3.5 years. So we supposed to ignore the record inflation. We supposed to ignore all of these proxy wars. We supposed to ignore what's happening in Israel and Ukraine. We supposed to ignore just what recently happened with the Hurricane Helene situation. We're supposed to ignore the migrant crisis and just vote for her just because she black and she a woman and because she Democrat and because that's what our parents did before us that led us down into this trap and this problem area in the first place. This is y'all fault. Y'all controlled the White House the last 12 of the 16 years. And the only time that we had troops coming home, the only time that we had unprecedented peace, the only time that we had prosperity, the only time that we got a tax cut, the only time we started really talking about closing off our borders and building better walls, the only time that we was really, really dedicated to renegotiating the North America Free Trade Agreement and putting tariffs on China in order to save some of our industries as our manufacturing base continued to leave the United States of America was when Trump was in office. Now, we supposed to simp out for women because what? Because you said so?
You know what I'm saying, nigga? Like, that's like I said, black men, no, we don't do that. It is not, oh, come on, black men, no, we naturally, like, nigga, just because you said, yeah, that's what I'm saying, we all alike. I don't care what you say. Like, nah, B, it don't work like that. I don't know where you from, but where I'm from, nah, you know. Now, people we trust, yeah, like I said, but it's a small circle. You know, that we can just go off on your word alone. But shit, Obama, just because you said so, like, who the fuck are you, nigga? You know, it's not just because, you know, you're not us because you're the president. No, you didn't do anything. Just like, I don't care what color you are, white, black, yellow, green, you didn't do anything. That's why we don't listen to you.
Coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
No, we not. No, we not. We telling you directly to your face. We identify with masculinity. We don't always 100% agree with every single thing that Trump says, but guess what? He says what he feels and he means what he says, and we not willing to deal with another chameleon or a person to sell you hopes and dreams, don't have no way to pay for it, and continue to throw us under the bus, while continuing to let unprecedented amount of other migrants into this country to take over your cities and the towns. And we supposed to mobilize with you? Why? Because we black? Get the hell out of here, bro. Where they find him at, man? Send him back to Chicago or wherever it is that he
Zach, where they find it? Well, we know where they found him at. Shit, he on call. Hey boy, you know, he avoided them. Hey boy, you better do something. Get your ass out here. Yeah, you know, they told him whoever's really in charge of them, you know, whoever's really pulling the strings, you know, either the Chinese communists or the German communists, somebody pulling his strings. Ain't no, you know, Harris.
to focus on building this presidential library, but this is nonsense, bro. Never been so disappointed in this guy in my entire life, man.
And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop,
There they go with them helicopters. Like I said, if I was sitting out front, they'd be flying in front.
anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But they're not in charge of anything. In charge of it, you know. The women is the head of the household in the black community. That's another big problem. But the women know better. They're not falling for that shit either.
Somebody read Bill.
They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble,
They really thought that shit was gonna work. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna vote for Kamala. Even though, matter of fact, for most of us, she's nothing like the women in our family. That's another thing they don't even think about. Like, yeah, my mom didn't sleep her away. Now, well, you don't know that. I didn't hear no rumors, you know, this and that. I didn't, you know. I'm pretty sure most of us, you know, like they I don't know, they think everybody, they got to remember, we from a different generation. And so we didn't see all that type of stuff, you know. Yeah, we see Kamala, you know, and she was a Willie Brown side piece, and then with Montel Williams, and this is like it don't. Well, that don't mean shit. No, no, nope. It just all of that. My point is, don't compare them. You don't know people's family. You up there comparing her to people, the women, and you know, even you know the women in your family that's younger than her. You know, people got cousins or sisters. They ain't do all that. That you know, that, especially like in the '80s and '90s, and they younger than Kamala in the '80s. I'm from Queens. They wasn't out with rappers and drug dealers or anything. And you could be well, Willie Brown. It don't matter. They wasn't out. Was they did what they had. They got college degrees. It didn't have to have some guy. And when they talk, they don't sound stupid like Kamala.
And the system's not working for us. They're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody?
Ain't nobody thinking of sitting out. Everybody all hands on deck. Everybody know this is not a drill. Everybody's like, nah, we need to get rid of this hoe. Ain't nobody sitting out.
Has a history of denigrating you?
When did he denigrate? When did Trump denigrate black men?
No more.
When did Trump denigrate black men? You know, they need that's a defamation suit.
Simping Trump 2024. Let's bring masculinity back. Let's bring closing off our borders back. Let's bring focusing on America first back. Let's bring American manufacturing back. Let's bring focusing on bringing the best things of the past into the future. And we need to go back and make America great again. I've never been more enthused about making sure that we mobilize and we focus.
See, everybody crunk, everybody's hyped. See, that's what. Remember, I said it this morning. You can feel it. You can feel the energy. You know, the Holy Spirit. They scared. We all been feeling it. They really. The devil is scared. This last one right here. Yeah, so it's not like I said, it's not just
Definitely help you pay.
black men. It's
We
not
gotta
just
get the
black
word out.
men.
That's why our channel is important to.
This is a day ago, so it's not just black men, Obama. Yeah,
As most of you
you know, it's not just so black men. He just don't want a woman as
Have
president.
done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years. There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you shut your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
In Afghan
national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. Would you have done something differently? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
Do you believe voters are attributing all of the disastrous things that have happened to Kamala?
What do you mean?
So do you think that voters are actually ascribing all of the issues we've had in the last 4 years to Kamala, or do you think they think that she's going to be different than Biden? Do they see that it's not going to be any different? It may actually be worse.
Okay, I'm going to say it. I know y'all going to get mad at me. There are millions of Americans who believe her, and unfortunately, millions of those millions look like me and you, right? Because she's a black woman. So they are buying into that. They are running, lock, stock, and barrel with that. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how unintelligent she is. It doesn't matter how she's been in the office with Biden and has put forth nothing that would support this community that she claims to be a part of. None of that matters. It doesn't matter about her policies that she supported with all these illegals coming in, taking over Chicago, New York, places where many people that look like me, now they don't have the resources for their own children. None of that matters. All that matters is that she is claiming to be a black woman.
So, I mean, the reason why she responded the way that she responded to that question is because otherwise, if she said, no, I would do something different, it would require thinking. And it would require her to say what she would have done differently. But she can't think of anything. What? Because then she would have to go into it and explain how she would have handled the economy differently, how she would have handled the border differently, or...
Yes, the point is, nobody's falling for that shit, the women of any race, everybody's done with her. The ones who fell for it. The rest of us was never down with her in the first place, but we knew better. And there's one more I wanted to show right quick. But the thing is, all of this is a good thing. All this is connected. The funny thing, y'all be like, oh, don't worry about politics. It's like, no. Once I saw that y'all were doing the same thing to Trump that y'all did do to me, using the same tactic, I said, wait a minute. Oh, it was a good thing. I mean, not for Trump or the country, but I'm just saying, I see, at the time, it looked like I was isolated. But I also know it's over. It's over.
Craziness?
Y'all could try to fight.
To call him selfish? Who's being selfish? You're politicizing the
EMA Hurricane Milton emergency update broadcast,
Yeah, she up there,
which sent social media into a spin. The Vice President received a briefing from disaster relief authorities on preparations and weather forecasts for the hurricane. During the video briefing, Kamala Harris could be seen covering her mouth, appearing to relay a message to someone else through a microphone and earpiece. The VP mumbled, "It's a live broadcast," behind her hands.
Flood We really got to watch those areas and those communities. So it takes quite a while for that water to drain.
How stupid! I mean, she literally probably could have just muted her microphone and then said it, and people just probably wouldn't even paid attention. She could have been burping. Seriously, she's a female. She's trying to, be dainty, but instead, she too dumb to even cover mute the mic.
Thank you very much.
She then immediately took her hands away from her mouth and asked a question.
Hey, Ken, I have a question for you. You mentioned words matter, and I know there is a lot of media following this briefing.
Commentators immediately blasted the VP, accusing her of being fed questions by aides through an earpiece. Commentator Charlie Kirk said, "Busted. Kamala is heard telling an aide who is feeding her questions that it's a live broadcast. She then asks the question she was presumably given. When you realize what a fraud..."
Exactly. Hey, I got a question. So they're telling her, hey, ask this question. She can't think for herself. She's a puppet.
This woman is, you can't unsee it. And this commentator doubled down, saying, "Pathetic. Kamala Harris just forgot to mute her mic while telling the intern feeding her hurricane questions that it's a live broadcast. If you needed more proof Kamala is merely an incompetent puppet, here it is." The gaffe comes after Kamala Harris was slammed for politicizing the hurricane disaster and picking a fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over his response to the crisis.
Look, this whole riff on DeSantis Harris and him not taking a phone call, I mean, just so gross. I see the man is right now in the middle of dealing with his second major hurricane in a week. The one that's hitting now, they say is the biggest.
Another one.
Remember the last time?
Even the like 60 Minutes is not behind her anymore. The woke, media. And now they're going after her, asking questions.
Interview where Kamala sounds what? This is Kamala. That's Kamala Harris. That's the brain of the person that wants to run your White House spot.
And then, she can't answer the question, and the guy actually goes after her. But anyway,